Howdy, folks. It's What Chaos on Tuesday, January 9th in the United States of America. I'm BJ Bean. Pete Blackburn is here. Sean Pauser, DePause is here. Hi, Pete.
Hey, wow, lucky me. Also, this is probably the most excited I've been for an episode of this show since we've started. The Cutter Gauthier thing from last night is like maybe the most exciting spectacle and like wild NHL moment that I can remember in a while.
Quick, new subscriber tier bonus. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube within the next 5 minutes, Sean and I will physically remove Pete and he won't be able to do. I've always wanted to make this since I thought of it like a week ago. I want to make some sort of tier and bonus thing that we like remove each other from the show and don't let each other do the things that we want to do.
You said that during the live stream that we did during the Winter Classic, and you were just like, yeah, if we reach like 5,000 subscriptions, one of us just gets to go home. And I was like, please reach it. This game is boring.
There was I was listening to the radio one time, and it was somebody's birthday. So everybody else walked out for the last 5 minutes, and they just had to like sit there by themselves. And it was bad. I feel I would fucking thrive. Yeah. I'd like think of something to do within an awkward 30 seconds and then fucking hum.
You with nobody to answer to while like just podcasting is the scariest idea.
No, like I'd finally unlock my potential. I'm no longer burdened by actually having to do the right thing. Massive episode. Jackie Redmond had just a nightmare of a travel day yesterday. I believe is just landing now, so is not going to be on this episode. She will join us very, very soon. We will have Kirill Marchenko, which is one of our favorite interviews we've done on this show. The sweetest person in the world. Just lovely guy. Very funny. Very fun. Charming with his apologies for his English, which is very good.
Yeah, his English wasn't that bad. Like charming and adorable were the two biggest words that I took away from spending time around Kirill Marchenko. And like I think the biggest takeaway from the Columbus trip as a whole was just how highly everybody speaks of Marchenko, from like the Blue Jacket staff to his teammates. Like everybody who found out that we were sitting down with him was like, oh, you guys are going to love him. He's going to be awesome with you guys. He's just like one of the boys who just kind of like an incredible personality and also an incredible player. The fact that he is has not been elected to the All-Star game in the initial selections for the Columbus Blue Jackets is insane to me.
Hashtag NHL All-Star vote.
Yeah, hashtag NHL All-Star vote.
We're pushing the Marchenko agenda. Somebody tweeted at us, be like, yes, push that Marchenko agenda. And I love the idea of referring to something like positive as pushing the agenda. So we're pushing the Marchenko agenda.
If we get Kirill Marchenko to the All-Star game, he'll owe us. Because it can't be on merit. It's not that he's a fantastic player. 13 goals this season, folks. Yeah, that's right. Nobody sneezed, because that's nothing to sneeze at. He's a great player. Let's get him there. If he gets there and we have any sort of hand in it, we're going to like do some fun stuff with him. Like I was telling Sean, I already got like some segments I'd love to do with him just based off of meeting and hanging out with him once. This was the first podcast he's ever done.
It was. Yeah, he did say that. And he also, I mean, it's not purely based off selfish motivations, which sometimes we're okay saying that, yeah, it's selfishly motivated. But like Marchenko deserves to be at the All-Star game. And I also want to be around him again because he rocks. So let's get Marchenko to the All-Star game, making that push.
But we start with the news that rocked the NHL yesterday. We'll give you the timeline in a little bit, but before we even give you the timeline, we just got to tell you what we're talking about. Cutter Gauthier traded to the Ducks last night in a crazy what's going on. Gauthier is the 5th overall pick in the 2022 draft, star at Boston College, World Juniors, really becoming a household name. And this happens after World Juniors all the time, where there's like a lot of buzz about like, who is this guy? We had it with Charlie McAvoy. It isn't right after that happens that a player is traded by a team that kind of just drafted him. Shocking stuff. And what followed was just a mess of shit of how did this happen? Why did this happen? It's because he didn't want to be in Philadelphia. Oh my God, the Ducks gave up Jamie Drysdale and a 2nd round pick for this player. Just a massive trade on the surface anyway. And then when you peel back the layers of why it happened, and most importantly, the reaction on the Philadelphia side, magnetic evening.
And not just the reaction from like on the Philadelphia side from the fans. This is by far the strongest reaction I think I've ever seen from an organization in the aftermath of a surprising trade. Just immediately coming out at almost every level, from the coach, the general manager, the president,
governor.
Almost everybody in this organization, like a unanimous effort to say, fuck this kid, get out of here, good riddance. Like, that was basically the message in no uncertain terms, that they are so angry that they had to trade this kid. And it was unlike anything that I've seen. And that's why I say, like, the spectacle of last night was one of the most shocking and kind of like enthralling experiences I can remember as a hockey fan.
Not since Jarome Iginla was traded to the Penguins.
Yes.
And even that was so late at night. That was like, I want to say midnight or past midnight. I was covering a game, went, did all the stuff, did all the reporting, the writing, came home. And when it was when I came home that like, God knows what hour, that like that was starting to trickle out. So while that was like a shocking, everybody who is awake is like, holy fuck, what is happening? This was prime smack dab, like early evening. Everybody was able to react. It slowly trickled through, like, as you said, president, governor, GM, coach, everybody bit by bit. You get reports, you get conflicting reports. Hockey fan, non-hockey fan, if you were a sports fan, this was electric shit. Let's go through the timeline. It starts yesterday evening with the Ducks tweeting that they had traded Jamie Drysdale in a 2025 second rounder for Cutter Gauthier, confusing the hockey world. Frank Saravalli says it's because he didn't want to play in Philadelphia. Then Flyers president of hockey operations Keith Jones confirms as much on the NBC Sports Philadelphia broadcast, saying, you don't want to be a Flyer, you're not going to be a Flyer. Governor of the Flyers, Dan Hilferty, then jumped on a podcast mid-game, telling the Snow the Goalie podcast the Flyers are going to roast this kid's ass, the fans at least. He said, well, it's kind of his fault anyway, so you can't really feel bad for them. They're going to be roasting him in the QTs. On the very same podcast, its host, Anthony Sanfilippo, says former Flyers forward Kevin Hayes' fingerprints are all over this. What? Ryan Whitney checks with Kevin Hayes, who says, whoever that is a complete clown, and anyone who thinks I had anything to do with this doesn't have a brain. Oh, man, what a night, right? No, that's Torts' music, because after the game, Torts is asked about it. He gives a little flippant answer and then follows up, look, I don't know Cutter from a hole in the wall, okay? I don't know this man. Let's talk about Jamie Drysdale. I do need to put a little bow on this and say that afterwards, friend of the podcast and fourth host, Sarah Siv, said, man, I would love to cover John Tortorella because he gives golden quotes like this. Sarah, love you, kid. No, you fucking wouldn't, because for every one of these, there are a million grunts and non-answers and just uncomfortable moments. Sarah's got thicker skin than I do probably, so maybe she could stomach it. I would lose my mind if I had to cover that guy.
Quick timeout. I just want to say, amazing job. Amazing job. That, like, it felt like you were just cutting a promo. I was worried about having to like recap the timeline.
You said we need a timeline.
Yeah.
I said, got you, babe.
And like, I was worried about having to kind of recap this whole situation because there's so many moving parts and so many things that happened. And really all I want to do is just jump in and like talk about the takes and like the feelings and stuff like that. So I was worried about having to get there. You just like put together an incredible timeline, cut a promo, like just what a professional. Good for you.
You came in, shit, I didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, we can make that into a little clip or something. But you came in and like I had like papers stuck to my forehead, like methamphetamines just like littered around. You're like, hey guys, too busy.
You're like, I'm cooking, leave me alone.
Yeah. But that is what happened. And now is the fun part where we get to pour through each of those layers. I didn't even include in there poor Danny Briere, who had to be like, what am I to do? The boy doesn't want to play. The boy doesn't play.
I guess we'll start here is that like we don't know exactly what's going on here just yet. We know the Flyers side of things. We know that they're absolutely pissed, but we haven't heard from the Gauthier camp. And what we do know from the Flyers, so we kind of like have to take the Flyers at their word at this point, and until we hear the other side of things. But like from what we've heard right now is that Gauthier said that he was excited to be a Flyer. Like in the pre-draft interview was like, I'm down to be a Flyer. It sounds great to me. And then at some point he changed his mind and then apparently just started ghosting the Flyers. We refused to meet with them at World Juniors. They flew to Sweden so they could sit down with him and see if like maybe something could be worked out. He refused to sit down with them. So like I need to know why this top prospect, one, changed his mind, and two, would not sit down with them and have the conversations.
Of all of the media that we have ready for this show, we don't just have a headshot of John Tortorella to shove in your face.
This is what he looks like.
Yeah, like I think that is the answer. Maybe like young players don't always love playing for John Tortorella. There was it Rearad RA that said like the combination of rookie GM
and the coach's playing style.
Right. So
I don't know how much I buy into that. Like, we'll see, but
I consider what's his name? What's RA's first name?
Brian.
I consider Brian a friend. So
I also consider Brian a friend. I don't know if I'm going to him for like scoops though.
Clearly not, because you don't trust him and I don't know his name. But I think that I don't not believe that. If somebody says it has anything to do with torts, and we're torts guys, this whole podcast started because of a weird John Tortorella tribute Twitter account that we made during COVID when we were bored. But I totally believe a young player not wanting to play for John Tortorella. So that's fine. It's the ghosting aspect that is wild. Like I've heard of players like kind of giving radio silence to teams when Dougie Hamilton wanted to leave the Bruins. He just didn't give counteroffers to the team when he was coming up on being a restricted free agent. They'd send him offers and he'd be like, no, thank you. And they'd be like, so what'll it be? And he'd be like, I said,
no, thank you.
No, thank you. This though, they were like, we were trying to ask him, what can we do? What is wrong? How can we maybe change your mind? And shout out to Danny Briere because he was saying like, we could not have this get out that he didn't want to play here, because if we talked him into staying and then you find out that the guy doesn't want to play here, fans are going to be all pissy. I say this as a Boston Celtics fan. It is extremely on the record. Jason Tatum will freely say, I never wanted to be a Boston Celtic. I wanted to go to the Suns so badly. No interest in going to the Celtics. Now he's Mr. Celtic. He loves it. But not to say that Boston Celtics fans are the most rational folks. Like, we're talking about Flyers fans and Philly fans, so I can understand why they want to be a little protective of the kid, even as he was saying.
Yeah, I hear you. We have the Briere clip, right? We may as well just play that now.
The reason why we didn't want to say anything was not to hide anything from our great fans. It was to try to protect the kid. We were hoping that at some point he would change his mind. I mean, he had already changed his mind. He looked at us at the draft and told us he was built to be a Flyer, wanted to be a Flyer, and then a few months later told us that he didn't want to be a Flyer, didn't want to play for the Flyers. So in our mind at first, we said we have to protect him. We have to, because if he changes his mind again, and it's out there that he doesn't want to play, it's going to be tough for him to put the uniform on. you know, but when we realized that they refused to talk to us, now it's been months, and he didn't want to be a Flyer, didn't want to be in Philadelphia, it was time to make it happen. It goes back, they told us when he came back from the World Championship last May, I believe.
Sean, toss that up. Julie in the chat asks, Julie in the chat, is it really ghosting if you say I don't want to play here and then stop talking? Isn't that a standard breakup?
I guess, yeah, I suppose. But like you
can't break up though if
you're
like
under
your contract. And I know
Yeah.
that like contractually you haven't signed a contract to play, but like legally your rights are owned by this team. Like you do have a business relationship with them.
Like it's more so along the lines of quiet quitting, like where you just stop showing up to work. Like it's the Office Space thing. You just stop showing up to work, and instead of getting promoted, he got traded.
I don't like the team, and I'm not gonna go.
Yeah,
I just know I'm not going to go. That was Cutter Gauthier.
I mean, Briere kind of not alluded to it, but like literally straight up said, like, this has gone back months. He refused to go to development camp too, and apparently there's been some reports put out there that like there was like some anger on either side. It's confusing about like them pressuring him to go back to college or not go back to college, and to like something's gotten mixed up there. Those reports are coming out. I think everybody's just trying to reach for a reason right now as to like why this would happen. But it's clear that this has gone back for a while, and the Flyers have been trying to keep it quiet.
What do you think of the governor jumping on a fucking pard
in
the middle of a game?
In the middle. So that
just being like, you boys podcasting, mind if I sit in?
The quickness with which they
got
responded.
room for a fifth?
Like I wish that I like knew the internal memos that were sent out, or like the messaging before the trade was actually announced, because it really did seem like there was a concerted effort to get out ahead of it, get behind the mics, like everybody, this is a team effort. We all have to hit a mic at somewhere in this arena and talk shit about this kid in the next 2 hours after this was announced.
Sean Couturier, we find out, is mic'd up for that game afterwards. Just like, hey, did you hear about the trade? We didn't want it out there that it was very nice of the other teams to not put out there that he wanted to leave, because otherwise the leverage, because everybody said that as well. Keith Jones said that, as you noted. Like, this happens a lot with guys who play or coach and then go into broadcasting and then go back into coaching or being in the front office. They keep their kind of broadcaster cadence and their voice. Doc Rivers had that, like when he was with the Celtics, he was very still like ESPN-y in press conferences. Keith Jones holding with Bush, who is, I had to look up, I was like, is Bush in the front office now? Because it was on NBC Sports Philadelphia. I was like, did he stay with NBC? Like, what's happening here? You couldn't tell like who's in the front office, or is this just like a broadcast panel?
Right, yeah. So let's play that, because I love this clip.
I feel bad for Cutter when he comes to, well, I don't really feel bad for Cutter when he comes to Philadelphia.
Yeah, he didn't want to be a Flyer. So we had to, come up with a plan, and fortunately, we were able to execute on that plan. His value would never be higher than it was after the World Junior Championships. It was only going to decrease if the word got out there. I have to give a lot of credit to the people that we were negotiating with, that they kept this quiet. It could have become a much more difficult situation. So the other general managers, presidents around the league were outstanding in keeping this a private matter.
Pretty tough to do that these days.
Yeah, and the leverage starts to change in that case. So you don't want to be a Flyer. You're not going to be a Flyer. And we were very pleased in the return that we got, a player that we coveted and were searching for in Jamie Drysdale, a right-handed shooting defenseman that was a former 6th overall pick. He's got skill, and we're looking forward to seeing him get into our lineup. It'll be an emotional time in Anaheim for him. He's an extremely popular player and a great person, so can't wait to meet him.
I love the smirk after he says he's a great person. And just being like,
unlike some people,
wink wink. Yeah, no, so I love that for several reasons. I just like transparency from general managers, instead of like the cliche speak that you expect, the canned answers. I love Keith Jones kind of just telling it like it is. And I also love that for like Flyers fans, because I know that when they hired him, a lot of Flyers fans were like, oh my God, old boys club. Like we're going around the same carousel over and over and over again. But at the same time, Flyers fans have been like really, really asking for transparency from their front office for quite some time. And they're certainly getting it at this point, or at least in this particular scenario. So, big fan of Keith Jones just like speaking very openly and candidly about that situation.
My favorite part of it, my man had the best posture on that broadcast. He was like doing the job more than the broadcaster. I love that. He's amazing. The other thing that we need to talk about, though, is the report from Dr. San, Phil, something, Anthony Sanfilippo, saying Kevin Hayes' fingerprints are all over this. And then in short order, we get a report from Ryan Whitney that Kevin Hayes says that guy's a clown.
Well, I think that an interesting and an important part of this is that Gauthier went on a podcast, I think like a year ago, and was talking about like how he had connected with Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes had reached out to him and been like a good friend to him. Boston College connection. At the time, Hayes was with the Flyers, obviously was traded from the Flyers last offseason. And like, it was not a super amicable breakup. Like his feelings towards Tortorella, towards the Flyers organization soured, and it was kind of ugly. And that's happened with several guys. I mean, we talked with James Van Riemsdyk before this season. He obviously wasn't happy in Philadelphia as well. So, like, that's probably where some of this came from. And I don't know if was like a legit source that this guy had, or if he had just seen that one clip that hit Twitter and was like, this seems like a Kevin Hayes thing.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you could say fingerprints are on it, in that, like, I don't know, like if like I've like left places of work and then people have been like, hey, should I apply for a job at this place or whatever? And I'll situations are different, but I'll be like, well, what are you trying to get into? Like, if it wasn't right for me, like, could it be better for you, sort of thing. But even if I were like, nah, like, fuck that, is a person really, because like their friend was like, oh, I'm not there anymore. Like, I can't believe that this kid would say, Kevin Hayes said he didn't like it there, so I am going to, as the 5th overall pick, like a potential franchise player, be like, fuck that, I'm not even going to start with these guys. That's so unlikely.
It's like a real, like, if that is what happened, like, it's a real, the audacity of this bitch kind of thing, to not even really give it a chance as the 5th overall pick and then just decide that you're not going to play there. I mean, again, we don't know Gauthier's side because he hasn't really come out and said anything yet. But like, if that's the leap that you're making as a player and as like a, incoming prospect, it's a wild leap to make based off of like what you heard from one guy.
Yeah, I could believe Kevin Hayes potentially said like, fuck that guy, or like, I wouldn't want to play there, sort of thing. But like,
and that doesn't mean
I can't believe a 5th overall pick would say, well, now that you say that, I'm done. Not a word to them the rest of my fucking life.
Right. Yeah. Do I think that Kevin Hayes told Cutter Gauthier, like, don't fucking play there, it's going to be horrible for you? No, I don't think that that's the case.
I think that he could have been like, fuck those guys.
Yeah, or he would just be like, man, it was shitty. Like, I had a shitty time there. And he's entitled to, he has a right to be able to share that information with a guy who asked him. Like, I have no problem with that, but I don't think that Kevin Hayes' fingerprints are all over this.
I think fingerprints could be there in a sense. Like, how long do fingerprints last? Do we know? Sean?
No, I have no idea.
I'm very surprised. You've known everything I've ever asked you.
That's fair. Sorry to let you down here. I was just going to point out, as Chase the Puck said in the comments, PHOY's Charlie O'Connor reached out to Hayes, and Hayes' exact quote was, I have never said a negative thing about Torts or the organization in my life.
Well, now I know he's lying.
Yeah.
Now I know he's lying.
do with that what you will.
Oh yeah, so that's like a smoking gun. His
That
fingerprints
was
are
the worst,
all over this
That was
thing.
the worst response that Kevin Hayes ever could have given, because now I don't believe a fucking thing that he says.
Kevin Hayes to the situation.
Absolutely no chance Kevin Hayes has not said a single
There
negative
is
word about the
DNA,
Flyers.
semen. There is like everything all
He
over
is-
this now.
He is the
Blood.
Rudy Gobert of this situation.
Yes. Kevin Hayes.
Spreading his germs
Yeah.
all over the place.
Oh my God. Clorox, please.
Yeah, I don't know. So like I believe in a player's right to be like, I'm not playing here.
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't believe in players' rights.
Okay. I believe in a player's right to be like, I'm not playing here, not interested, whatever. And if they have the ability to flex that power, then all the power to them. But I also believe in a team's like if that happens to a team, I believe in the team's right to be like, all right, well, if you're going to do this, then we're going to be able to say, fuck off. Like, we're going to be able to go out there, air this shit publicly, put it out there and say, like, we don't like you. We hate you. And good riddance. You're dead to us. And good luck when you come back here. And I could not love more that it's the Flyers doing this, just because, like, it does feel like a return to like identity for the Flyers in a way. The Flyers have not been like passionate or like assholery about anything for quite some time.
It's like how the Canadians suck, and you're
Right.
just
like
come on.
I want the Flyers to be this kind of team that like, hey, if you're not proud to be a Philadelphia Flyer, if you're not proud to like represent everything that Philly is, then get the fuck out. And we are going to trash you on the way out, and we're going to trash you for the next decade plus, and we're going to hate you for like the entirety of your career.
Get a little bit of that sandpaper back.
I do fucking love that. And I think that Gauthier would be wise to kind of like embrace that. If all of this is true, and like, again, we haven't heard his side of it, but if all of this is true, like, I think the place that he's made his bed, and now he has to fucking lie in it. And I think that he can kind of embrace this role as being like a villain to this city, and maybe a villain to like the entire NHL, maybe a heel for the NHL. And like, I think that it kind of like his face lends to it, his demeanor lends to it. And I would kind of come around on Cutter if he was just like, yeah, so what? I didn't want to fucking play there. Who cares?
Go ahead,
No,
Sean.
I was gonna say I also feel like, because you kind of mentioned like the city of Philadelphia, I feel like all of the people from the organization that have made comments, like they're also fully aware that this is regardless of how much of what they say they actually believe, like this is a great way to get Philly fans on your side by making somebody an enemy, by making somebody like there's somebody that hates Philadelphia. Well, now we all fucking
You're
hate
not
them.
mad at us. We're all mad at somebody else
Exactly.
together.
And so
Right.
I feel like it's a great, like almost like marketing scheme.
It's a great unifier. Like I said, I don't think that I've seen an entire organization and an entire fan base sort of come together and unify in like one specific cause like this in a long time. And it does feel like Cutter Gauthier was the guy that the Philadelphia Flyers needed in order to kind of bring them together and reestablish an identity for that organization. They lost a great player, but they also kind of got back a thing that's really important and kind of like a DNA to that team.
Don't talk about DNA. Kevin Hayes' DNA is all over this thing. Am I being too much of an old head / 90s guy if I bring up how fun it is that this is happening to the Flyers?
With the Lindros situation? Yeah, it is different though. Like a lot of people have been linking it to like, well, the team they didn't have this energy when Lindros fell on their lap, or like other teams didn't have this energy when like Kevin Hayes spurned them to go to the Rangers, or Adam Fox. But like in those or Jimmy Vesey, but like in those situations, Lindros made it clear that he did not want to play.
It was
for
an
the
Eli
Nordiques.
Manning thing.
Right.
Like before the draft, he was like, do not draft me.
Right.
They drafted him.
And this is different because taking Philly on their word, Gauthier was like, yeah, draft me. I want to be a Flyer. And then changed his mind. So it's a little different. It's a little different sort of energy. Yeah, like it is kind of like ironic that it has now kind of burned them in a way, but I don't think it's the same situation.
Well, we'll play. We still have to play Torts in a second, but first, I actually do want to talk about the trade itself. Jamie Drysdale in a second round pick. The Lindros trade was Peter Forsberg and Ron Hextall and all these great players, like multiple first round picks, millions of dollars, which was a big deal in the early 90s. This trade, without all the bullshit, rocks. It's so exciting. The Ducks get a stud young scorer who should be great there with all the offensive players they have. They're just going to become like a poor man's Edmonton, although they do feel they have young defensemen that Drysdale could have been expendable. Now
Minchikov made that kind of like he was the real found gold to start the season.
And the Flyers, meanwhile, get seemingly a stud young defenseman. We'll see what the other pick becomes, but this reminds me of like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago at this point, Delman Young for Matt Garza in Major League Baseball, where it was like a top hitting prospect for a top pitching prospect. And you're like, oh, I can't believe either of those teams did that, because both of them can become fucking legends.
Yeah.
So like this is going to be a thing that years down the road, we're comparing this trade.
My biggest problem with this trade is that it's a cross-conference trade and that they're only going to play each other twice a year, because I want Gauthier in Philly as much as possible moving forward. But I mean, like, I agree with you. Like, I don't think that Philly wanted to do this trade. I don't think that this is a great trade for Philly. I think that Drysdale, we don't know who he is just yet. He hasn't like blown anybody away for the most part in what we've seen from him at the NHL level. But from Philly's perspective, with the situation that they were put in, I think they did very well to get like a really good, promising young player while also keeping this under wraps, while keeping as much leverage as they possibly could have, getting a pick on top of it. And then on the other side, like, yeah, this is awesome for the Ducks. They lucked their way into a guy who looks like the real fucking deal and has a lot of like cockiness and kind of like star power behind him, and they add him to a stable of like a young core that already includes Leo Carlson, Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish, Troy Terry. Like, this is a team that's going to be a problem.
That was crazy.
What?
Frank Vetrano.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All-star.
I'm going to say, I had this conversation with
the
DJ.
Oilers. The Oilers are adding to a group that includes Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evander Kane.
I had this conversation with Deej the other day, and not to get like too far into a side conversation, but like, I think the Ducks should trade Frank Vetrano this season.
I bet
That's probably fair.
They'll be taking calls on him. I'm sure he's got 1 year after this, but
yeah,
now they're too good.
I just wanted to mention two things about Danny Briere. First off, shout out, Sabres legend, favorite player ever growing up. Like the fact that he has not had this job for a year and has had to trade a lottery pick and draft, like I mentioned before the show, arguably the most controversial lottery pick in the last 10, 20 years in the NHL. And also, like, I feel like people aren't mentioning enough that the only thing that has changed since, like, for the Flyers between Cutter Gauthier being drafted and now is that they're good and Danny Briere getting hired. Like, it's the only, he was made GM in, I think he was made interim GM in May or something like that of 2023. Like, that's the only difference. And getting to the RA thing you mentioned between the coaching style and the coaching style, I don't buy, because you knew what Torts was when you were drafted, but you had a different GM. So I'm very
but
curious.
I mean, and it's funny because like I don't think we know yet what Danny Briere is as a general manager, but like,
his
Chuck
team's
Fletcher
good.
drafted him. That's a low bar.
Yeah.
Like, and not to mention the fact that I wonder, like, I hope
Anaheim also has a rookie GM.
that I was gonna say, like, it is funny that if those were truly his complaints, they sent him to a team that has a rookie coach and essentially a rookie GM.
Now that's the thing I'm
Verbeek.
here for. Like, for the people that are like, players have too much power. I don't think so, because the team has the power, and I would argue the right to do exactly that. Being like, you don't want to play here, fine, but we're not going to do you any favors. Like, we're going to send you we're going to do what's best for us, and we're going to send you
Please
wherever.
tell your Madden story
I was
because
going
it
to
makes me laugh every time.
Thank you. Years ago in Madden, my BFF Mike and I would play Madden all the time in high school, and we had a franchise that we just simmed every season. We were years into the future, probably 15 years into the future. We had a defensive end called Corin Vance, and we loved this guy. We were crazy about him. And after I think his second year, we got hit with that trade me, where it says trade me over his name. So we benched him for the rest of his contract. When his contract was up, we franchised him and franchised him and franchised him. We were so hurt that he had the gall to say trade me when we'd shown him nothing but love. We franchised him for the rest of his career. He never played another snap the rest of his life. And that's right, the rest of his life. We simmed decades into the future until he died. And that's just what Corin Vance got for showing such disrespect to two people who had shown him nothing but love. I'm not saying the Flyers should have done that, but that is what we did.
I love the idea that Madden just like has guys dying. who was the developer that was just like, we need this to be the most real?
So like he died like mathematically, we think.
Yeah, fair enough.
We didn't get like
old age,
at the end of the season where it's like, hey, don't forget to sign this guy, that, and also like, hey, remember Corin Vance from like back in 2041? He died.
Dead.
We're like, mission accomplished, boys.
We got the first ever super chat in What Chaos history.
What does that mean?
Someone paid money to us for a special comment that gets highlighted and thus must be.
Oh, I love this.
Steve H said, not familiar with Drysdale's game. Let me know.
Drysdale?
Drysdale? Yeah,
let me tell you a lot about Drysdale.
Drysdale.
You like German studs? Baby, we got the one for you.
Drysdale, like very high-end skill.
5 points, 10 games, I believe. 1 goal, 4 assists.
Say again?
5 points in 10 games, 1 goal, 4 assists.
Yeah, he hasn't been healthy, but like high-end skill, very solid offensively, and shows flashes. Is capable, I think, like ceiling, obviously, probably like a top pairing guy, potential star on the blue line, but hasn't really blown anybody away just yet. But
OHL boy,
he's early. He's 21 still, so I would be happy to get a guy like that, especially if you're the Flyers, because you kind of need that top pairing defenseman, that kind of anchor on the blue line. So like I don't think that the Flyers are bullshitting when they say like this is a guy they coveted, this is a guy that they've been kind of looking for. I don't think they wanted to trade Cutter Gauthier to get him, but it's like a really good playing the hand that you were dealt if you're the Flyers. And I do think that like the timing is not a coincidence. They waited until after the World Juniors. Gauthier went off. USA won gold. His stock is very high, and if they had waited any longer, may have started to come down. And if anybody had leaked that like this was going on, then they would have been kind of fucked. So like you can be happy that Drysdale plus is coming back in return.
5'11", 175 pounds, right shot defenseman, good passer.
I will also say that I saw that the Flyers reportedly tried to trade up in last year. Tried to trade Gauthier to trade up into the Canadiens' 5th overall pick, which they ended up drafting a defenseman with. So it also seems like Drysdale.
Another German.
Yeah, Drysdale clearly fills a need that Briere was looking for.
Here is John Tortorella after the game last night.
First part of Kevin's question, Danny said that Cutter didn't want to play here in Philadelphia and didn't want to play for the Flyers. What's your reaction to that?
Then we don't want you.
I believe you've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he...
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, you know? And I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie. He's the guy that's coming here.
We have, Sean, it went a little longer. You play the rest of it?
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Yeah, it's Sean Tortorella. And as we were playing that, Sean, you pointed out, you're like, I don't know if this counts as like piling on the kid, because that's how John Tortorella would talk about like us if he hung out
feel
with
like
us for a half hour.
Torts doesn't know who Cutter Gauthier is. And so it's just like, I don't know him from Eve. I don't know him from, like, it's just, I don't know him
Torts,
from
you a real one.
But like on that podcast that where Gauthier was talking about his relationship with Kevin Hayes, he talked about meeting meeting Tortorella, and he like made it seem like they were all like fucking like amped to meet each other and be like buddy, and he was like, "Fuck yeah, love to see the fire and the energy that like want you to play for us." And then he's like, "I don't fucking know this kid." I love that.
Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes I get frustrated when I'm trying to buy tickets. I'm saying, where can I get these tickets? How'd that guy get tickets to the game? How'd they get tickets to the game? I feel like everyone's going to the game except for me. I'm getting phone calls and FaceTimes from people who are at the game. And what am I doing? I'm here. I spend my nights sitting here because I don't get to go to the game. That's a thing of the past.
DJ lives here because he can't go to the game.
I can't go to the game. I'm like, someone going to invite me? I don't need to be invited. If you're never invited to games, here's a way you can get in. You go to Game Time because you can score amazing seats at amazing prices. Right before the game, couple hours before. I know the name might throw you off if you're a dummy. You could use Game Time before game time. Ooh. I'm talking days, weeks, even months before game time. It's what I used when Sean and I were going to the big game. Sabres against the Bruins. Sabres grabbed that 3-1 win. Sean famously waved goodbye to the Bruins fans as they were leaving.
I also used it for Patriots Jets because there's no way in hell I'm paying full price for Patriots Jets.
You That's probably fair. Only had to give game time like $8.
I'm shocked they didn't pay me.
That's true. You have a credit in your account.
It was genuinely though, like tremendous seats for like $30 for an NFL game.
Yeah. I mean, we know there's a bunch of ticket services out there, but I mean, Game Time is going to give you the best bang for your buck and just really an easy experience. I love the layout on the website where you can just look at the seats and see how it's going to look. Very, very easy. You get them within seconds. Click, 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 bing, 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 print. Just kidding. You don't even need to print. That's how good Game Time is. You don't have to print it. You can just do it right on your phone. So use code CHAOS for $20 off, and you will get the finest tickets. Or if you want some cheapies, you can also grab some cheapies. Game Time is there for you. Use code CHAOS for $20 off. We sat down with Kirill Marchenko, the lovely second-year player. Does he count as second year because he did like last year was like a half-ish sort of?
Yeah,
it's like a prolonged cup of coffee.
He scored like 20 goals in the second half of last year.
Right. If you lose your rookie status, your second year.
Yeah, that's the way I'd put it. He's stormed onto the scene, and I don't know if he's going anywhere except for the All-Star game with the help of you. Hashtag NHL All-Star Vote.
Yes,
Sean?
with his name.
NHL All-Star Vote, Kirill Marchenko.
Yes.
All right.
Spell it correctly.
Well, we had an incredible conversation with him. He's played a lot of the season, although recently they've fucked around and mixed up this line, but on the Blue Jackets Russian line, where not only is he a star goal scorer, he is a translator for his fellow Russian mates. There's a lot of Russian players on that team. There's also Provorov, guys who can help out. But
that team is entirely comprised of Michigan guys and Russians.
Right. They are Russian, that roster. Michigan, Russian. But this guy, Russian, American, tall, skinny, fat, black, white, purple. This is one of the more lovely and bubbly players I've ever encountered, not on this show, in my life of dealing with NHL players. He's fantastic. Here he is doing his first podcast, Kirill Marchenko. Kirill Marchenko, this is your first podcast ever?
Hey guys, yes. I think so, yeah, like it's a podcast?
Yeah, with the mics and everything.
Yeah, I think so. No, I have interviews, but in Russia. But yeah, here, of course, it's the first one. And I can nervous a little bit, and my English not great. Sorry for that.
Well, no, sorry for how stupid this question's going to be. No. Are they doing podcasts in Russia?
No, we're doing, of course. We have a couple, but just different formats, you know, like... I have a different format. We have the same thing in the Russia too, but I don't have a lot of times in the Russia. Yeah, because I live here now, and yeah.
So you're in the NHL, this great team, all this, like, what's the weirdest, as somebody who is not from America, what's the strangest thing about playing in the NHL and all of these things, and these two strange men come in and say, hey, do you know what a podcast is? When you have just said, I don't speak the best English. What's the weirdest thing about all this?
No, it's really cool. Just to start to NHL, we'll start talk about NHL. I think big difference, it's a point when I was kid, and usually every kid who is from Canada or America, like when 10 years old or 8 years old, start to practice and think about, okay, I want to play to NHL. I just don't think about NHL for 16 years. 16 years old for me, and I start, I can draft it? Like, really? Like, for 2 years before draft, and not 16 years, sorry for English. Yeah, when I was kid and 16 years old, I start thinking about NHL, like, really, I can't play, but no, it's not real. Because I living in, Khanty-Mansiysk, it's a city, really cold, small one, and we just, I think, same with my Russian teammates too. They, don't think about NHL. Never.
But you're so good.
Yeah, and when I come here, it's, of course, it's like dream, just say, wow, of course, it's a great everything. And I look at now this locker room. Why we don't have the same locker room?
That's what
Adam said. How you say a replica. It's supposed to look like it, but Adam was taking great umbrage.
He's very distracted.
I love it. Yeah, it's a good locker room with TVs and PlayStation, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
For 4 hours.
We were talking to Todd. We are going to sit like this in your regular locker room, so it can all be the same. We're just gonna have the two strange men.
You say that you're not good at English, but you're much better than you were last year. You made a lot of progress.
Yeah, thank you.
And now you're the translator for some of the guys on the team too. How did that happen?
But I'm not great translator. If you saw a couple interviews, we just sometimes I said for Vroni, like, hey, but in Russian language, hey buddy, I don't know what they mean. Like, just say yes, please.
Do they pay you extra as a translator?
No.
They should.
Whoa.
I ask, yes. Like,
that's labor exploitation.
You're working two jobs.
I say for first my translate, I say, hey guys, two jobs for me now. Please, where's my second paycheck?
Tell you what, I think that you should establish how valuable it is when you're translating well. And the way that you establish that is until the paycheck comes, maybe you start making some mistakes in the translations. All of a sudden, all the Russian players are saying the same thing, and it's some wacky stuff about penises or whatever. And they're like, why are these players saying, oh, well, they're not. They're not getting the premium translation that I can provide. And then honestly, you probably get kicked off the team for pulling that stunt.
Your free trial has expired. Pay for the premium subscription.
Get the real thing.
Yeah, it's true. But no, for me, translator, it's... if you want true, I start to learn English a little bit more when I translate for him, like for Vorny. I just learn too, I just listen like guys and try to think about Russian or English quick, and it's hard, but I like it, and really, I'm not great translator. Sometimes I just say, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Do you speak any other languages?
No, but I talk with friends. With Textier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's teach me French language. I know a couple of words. Hamon ça va.
So yeah, ça va.
Yeah, ça va. Tu fais quoi? And je suis perdu. It's
je suis perdu. That's
you know French.
Je suis. I knew it long ago. Je suis
perdu. It's mean like I'm lost.
I'm lost.
Yeah. Because this summer I've been in France and I learned. Okay, I'm lost. Okay, just first for translate. Okay, je suis perdu.
That's
fine. Yeah,
that's an incredible only thing to know in French when you go to France, because someone's like, "Hi, would you like coffee?" I am lost.
Yeah, I just know a couple. Yeah,
you might be able to coach the Canadians after you're done.
Canadians, so the Canadians require you must speak English and French.
But yeah, Canadian it's English and French too, but it's a little different. Text teach me French language, and some Canadian guys who know French. It's a little different.
Quebecois. It's Quebecois does a different type of French versus Polynesian French. So there was an interview where, you know, the NHL player Anthony Duclair. You know who he is?
Yeah.
So a person was speaking French to him, but they were speaking a different version of French, and he was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" I don't know any of this. It's wild.
He said, "I am lost."
Right. He said, "I am lost."
No, but really, for me, French language, it's a really beautiful language. When I like listen it, it's
so. Do you think
really
that?
good.
Do you think that English is ugly?
No, English is just. I don't know how you listen like English language. For us, it's just international language, second language, like classic. I say classic language. It's, But I know Russian. Listen, it's no great.
Wow. Did you know? I was looking up some fun facts about Russia. Did you know that Russia sold Alaska, the state Alaska? Russia sold Alaska for $7.2 million. So like Line and like Gaudreau make more money a year than Russia. So like, now I'm not trying to slag Russia, but like that's not an incredible deal. Sell a state for that little.
They got fleeced.
Yeah.
It's a big sale, I think.
It was a big sale. Like I don't know who their agent was, but
I don't know about this story. A lot about this story, and it's interesting. And it's really interesting. I wanna just need to read a little bit about this this transaction. I don't know, but I remember it's Alaska. It was Russia.
It was Russia. Yeah.
And just I don't know how it's worked, but I don't know what's the price.
$7.2 million.
Yeah.
That's like you have a couple of good seasons, you could probably go buy Alaska.
Alaska. No, I hope so, but first time I want to go for Alaska. Look at what's happening.
Scout it out.
There's some NHL players from Alaska.
Really?
The Boston Bruins goalie Jeremy Swayman is from Alaska. Yeah.
But it's cold.
Cold as fuck, brother.
I mean, you're from Russia. It's cold.
We're just from Russia. They say for me about cold. No.
Yeah.
How did you learn more English over the summer? Like how did you learn? Like what did you practice?
I don't know how it's work. I just take couple lessons, but know a lot and just. I think it's point. I don't know. I sorry for my English. Really, I don't start to know a lot of like more words. I just start to understand more.
Okay.
You know, it's like I just listen a lot, like you guys and the teammates, and just it's easy, you know. And because last season, every time when you said me like say me something, I just send me something, I just say, can you repeat please, because I don't understand, and try to slower and like try to understand me for normal words, like easy words. Now I can understand everything what you say. It's really easy. It's really help. But my English same, no great. I can understand you great, but I don't say great. For you now.
How helpful is it to play alongside two Russian guys? I mean, your line's been playing pretty well.
I think I start to forget English because we talk only on Russian on the ice and everything. We just all together, and it's really cool. And sometimes coaches like stay like with us, and we just talk for all three on the Russian language, and they like, what the fuck you say? no idea.
Well, you know the great NHL defenseman Zdeno Chara.
Yeah.
You know him.
Yes.
He had a rule.
But
he was.
I know who.
It would be cool if you did. Awesome.
I know who is this guy. Yes, of course.
Do you know that, by the way, he runs like 100 marathons now? All he does, he doesn't play hockey anymore. He just runs like a marathon a week. The marathon when you run for 26 miles.
Oh,
yeah,
marathon. Yeah, I know. I mean, yes,
out of his mind. Crazy.
Are you a marathon guy? You run?
Not of course, no.
Okay.
Marathon, no. Maximum 50 meter sprint. Like, it's
respect.
No. Yeah,
same.
But
no running.
100 maybe.
Not for sport.
Chara had a rule because he was captain. Everyone has to speak English. Obviously, that's not his native language, but he wanted to make sure that because he was Czech, he was Slovakian. He had a lot of Czech teammates. There were Russian guys. There were Quebecois, and he wanted to make sure that nobody ever felt excluded. And I think that's a good idea, but that must be a little scary if you don't speak English too well, right?
No, I think it's a good point, really, because for me, like if everybody is, but we have 6 Russian guys now, if we speak on the English on the locker room, it's right. And we try to speak English with everybody, but like I say, only our three, only only together, like one line, like we talk about face-offs and everything. We just speak Russian, On the ice, we speak on the Russian. If like we want to go like 3-on-2 on the ice, and we think, okay, I go like middle and just on the Russian, It's easy for us because Vroni don't know English, but yeah, it's a good rule. Of course, I think 100% I agree. Just for speak English for everybody.
Yeah.
On the locker room, and we tried. Not really, but yeah, it's a good one.
But this way, you can discuss your teammates that you don't like.
I was gonna say,
and
you ever
complain
talk shit
about
about
the
the other
coach.
guys?
You could talk shit about everybody else on the team and be like,
It's
"I'm
true.
sorry, we were game planning."
Yeah. It's
Talking
true.
about face-offs.
I know. Yeah, because sometimes when I don't understand. Oh, sorry, guys. I say it's first time for me.
No, you're doing
All
great.
good.
Yeah, and I say, of course, it's I've been in the situation when like some guys talk in the like French, maybe I don't understand really nothing. I just say okay, like it doesn't matter. But yeah, if you understand it, it's really easy. It's like better communication with everybody. I think on the team. Yeah, and we tried, but problem is Vroni. He's zero English now, but.
You're saying so. Correct me if I'm wrong. This sounds like he refuses to learn it. Does he just not know it yet, or is he learning it, or is he like, fuck this? Like English is a phase. I'm not. I don't need to.
Hockey.
Yeah, I don't need to
English.
learn it.
No, he's learned, but it's tough for him because we are here, and he just talk with on the Russian language with us every time. Like, and he's ask me, Chini, Provi, and Elvis, Terry, like he can just ask, and he talk on the. He don't talk on the English. But last game against Toronto, I broke my laces.
Yeah, laces. Yeah.
Just what's it? I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, no, laces. Yeah.
Yeah, just broke, and I forget scissors. Like how say it, like scissors.
Scissors, yeah.
And he sit like I know how he know, but he sit left here and just said me. I just asked a equipment guy about like, can you give me this one? And I forget this word, and he said me, hey, Marchi, scissors. And scissors.
He's holding out on you.
Yeah, he know like, hello, how are you? And scissors.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know how he knows this word, but yeah, he know like, scissor, yeah, scissor. I'm right?
That would be a great That would be a great nickname for him. You should call his team should call him Scissors. But to what you were just saying, and I'm not like campaigning for this rule. I bet if you guys did the sort of thing where it was like all English, then he's probably forced to learn it a little quicker. And because you were saying like he speaks Russian because he does have you, and that's good that he has Provorov and he has these other people with whom he can communicate that way.
Do you have a nickname for the line yet?
Oh, on our free line?
Yeah.
No, just Marchi. Stay with Marchi. He's yeah. We don't.
You guys gotta come up with a nickname.
Because it's a point. English and Russian it's a little different, and you need to just say Marchi, Chini, Vroni. We have I'm like Marcella. It's a Russian. It's easy for us.
Yeah.
And no Vroni, Voron.
So I'm noticing as you say this,
Yeah.
that nicknames in Russia don't do the lazy North American thing where like my name is or my birth name is David. If I were a hockey player, you would call me Davey or like Daves. That there's always a Y at the or the S.
Yeah.
It's one of the two things.
Yeah.
And the two ones that you gave were interesting because neither of them had that. One was Marcella.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, usually Marcello or like Marchi. Marchi on the like for English guys.
Yeah,
for
right. That's an
everybody.
English thing. Brad Marchand is called Marshy.
Yeah. Marcella and Chini. It's no Chini Chinach. No Chini. It's easy for us. Chini or Chinach. Chinach. Yeah, it's tough one. And Voroni for us it's really tough. Voroni. Voron.
Voron. Wow.
Yeah, it's a good for us.
Well, now you guys are just going to be known as the scissors line.
You got to be scissors. Yeah, I
Scissors
think
line.
you really need to
Scissors.
embrace and lean into the scissors imagery. I think that it'll go be
No, usually for everybody now, he's just big guy.
big guy.
He big guy.
Big guy?
Just big guy.
That's the best. You know what we call him? Small guy. Small guy.
Don't worry about it.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
He's
okay,
growing.
okay.
No, you're not small.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
you're not.
small.
You're not small.
He pointed to Johnny's locker? I saw that.
Have you been to the Columbus Zoo?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. What's it
Yeah,
like? I've never been.
A lot of times I never been in the different American zoos, but I know like it's one of the best on the America. It's me and my wife very love animals. We just walk around every time, and I saw a lot of times this animals, but I just come back and go and just for walk, for it's a good relax, really. Just think about not about hockey and just really good relax. And this season maybe 2 times or 2 or 3 times this season, and last season 4 or 5. Like we're just going. It's easy. It's 20 minutes drive.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What animals do you like to? I know that maybe the
Red panda. Red panda.
Red
for
panda?
Me. Yeah, it's
Panda.
favorite.
That's
It's a red panda.
Red
It's-
panda.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Red panda. It's really cool.
Yeah, those
They
are
look
awesome.
they look like a cat, but
Yeah, like big, like they're like koalas, sort of.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And
Have you ever seen the movie Turning Red?
no,
It's about a red panda.
no,
It's wild.
I can't watch movie because movies on the English language.
Subtitles.
Yeah,
yeah.
just no. I can't watch movie or shows. I tried, but it's a important thing for me. It's in the subtitles on the Russian because sometimes I don't understand what. Because usually on the movie it's like talk quick. It's tough for me now.
How about music?
Oh, I don't listen to music.
You don't listen to music?
No.
Just in general?
Yeah, I just
Like even Russian music?
no a lot. I don't have. Do you know Apple Music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a Apple Music.
You don't have a subscription? Do you have Spotify?
No, nothing. Really, just I don't know how it works, but I am shit songer. I can't like artist, nothing.
Not with that attitude. We could get you some lessons, bud.
No, yeah, It's don't help. My wife tried, but it doesn't work.
What do you do on planes? You don't watch TV. You don't do movies.
No, I watch Russian TV
Russian
with
TV, okay.
like Russian shows with my wife and play to PlayStation maybe.
Read?
sometimes.
Do you read a lot, or it's kind of for losers?
I wanna say yes, but no.
Reading is.
People say yes because they sound smart.
Yeah,
but-
I read one book for one day.
Yeah.
Book a day.
Reading. Yeah.
A lot of books
You
for
heard of
me.
this Dr. Seuss? He's ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Forget
so,
about it.
Usually just walk, watch Russian shows, and with myself on the trip, I start to watch Witcher.
The Witcher? Yeah.
The Witcher.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a
video game.
Yeah. No, it's a serial now. It's a show now on the Netflix.
Yeah.
The Netflix. Yes.
Yeah, off the video game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Russian musical acts.
No,
Who are famous Russian singers?
I don't have a favorite Russian singer because I just don't listen music a lot, and it's a really. I know it's not great.
It's not common, I would just say.
It's just different. Yeah, I know. But when we have a music or we don't have a music, doesn't matter for me. I don't listen.
Don't care.
I like. We can sit here or before game without music. For me, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just go on the ice and doesn't matter.
So do you get mad during the games? Like if you score a goal and they play the horn and they start playing music, are you like, turn that shit off? I don't like music.
No, I don't hate music, but I just don't listen. I have a story do you know karaoke?
Yeah.
Karaoke, oh yeah.
Karaoke when you
he does it all the time.
I hate it. It's
Why?
like
I like it.
It's like my biggest fear.
I like it too.
Really?
I like to sing. He doesn't.
Listen, yeah. I like it too, but when I go in karaoke, I've been in karaoke maybe 20 times, 25. Doesn't matter, but not a lot, but we're going when good night, and no, not here. I talk about Russia when we have summer, and this vibe, everything, and every time when I ask, can I just like make a like how say it, make a song, songer?
Sing a song.
Yeah, sing a song, and after that, like who is it? Just guy who is take microphone. Who is it?
Like the MC.
MC come in and like say, "Hey, buddy, good job. It's the first time for you." Every time. I said no. He said, "It's fine. It's fine."
First time tonight. Yes.
Yeah. Like it's the first time in karaoke. Yes, I said no. No, sorry guys, not first time. I'm just bad songer.
But I love that you go back and I mean, practice makes perfect. You're going to get better at it each time you do it.
I try it. It's.
You seem very positive. You're not going to get better at it.
First problem, I can't listen. I just listen. I listen, but I can't repeat. You know, it's really tough for me.
Whoa, interesting.
We have a challenge with my wife. He just give me like Russian. It's easy. Russian music, Russian words. It's like I know, and say, listen. Say it again now. Same, please. And like after 2 seconds, I can't say same. Like I say same words.
Yeah.
English is tough.
But
yeah, I say same words, but different. You know, like
they just come out different.
Yeah. Listen is way different.
In an interview before the season, you're talking about you played a lot of basketball this summer.
Yeah.
And you lost toenails. And you were like very secretive and mysterious about why you lost toenails.
It's a really tough question because I will talk on the English. I don't know how to say it, a lot of words, but yeah, I tried. It's a I have a little brother. He's taller than me, like say my tall, but he's 2006, and we just play 1-on-1 for one ring. Was it?
Oh, like half court, so you're playing on one hoop?
Yeah, one hoop. Yeah, hoop. I forget. Yeah, thank you. For one hoop, every time we just play and like for 12 and just it's a tough game because we just start to like easiest one, but after 2-3 points, we just agree and like let's go fighting like this together, and it's really interesting for me. It's for him too. We love this experience, but one time I just missed my shoes and I take it. He's my brother give me shoes. It's a regular shoes for walking or running, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a basketball one because I like basketball and I have basketball shoes, and I just forget and take normal shoes. And when you do like some if you know basketball, crossovers or like step
like
backs.
Your foot is hitting the front of your shoe.
There's no support.
Step backs and everything. You know, like I try to do it, and just every time, you know, my fingers going, and after like I'm shoes off and look at it and like okay, it's fine. After 2 months, I just lose it, and it's a new one now. But yeah, it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson for me. For
Gross.
Future. Yeah, but I won this game.
You won?
Of course, he's younger than me. Of course, I won.
But you said he's taller.
No, he's like same like me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 1 centimeter or like same. Okay. We're just really similar.
Basketball is a physical sport. People who don't play basketball don't understand that. It is a physical sport.
Yeah, of course. But basketball, I think it's not really close with hockey, but it's just legs and hands work together, and like 5 and 5. You just needed good, I think, hockey IQ and basketball IQ, you know, just passes and everything. I love it, and we watch a lot when playoffs start.
I was gonna say, do you watch the NBA?
Not now because we have a lot of games, and usually when we have a season, I don't watch it. But when playoffs started, of course, every like not every game, but a lot of games I just start to watch, and I try to learn too. Some like. It's interesting for me. Some moves and everything, like small details. It's really interesting, and I work a lot.
Do you have a favorite NBA player?
But same. I think it's the same like hockey. I don't have one favorite player. Like I like more Stephen Curry, of course. I think it's standard, and Jason Tatum for me.
Hell yeah! We're from Boston.
We're from Boston, so we love Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Great. I want to look too. It's amazing. First, my NBA game in the last season in Cleveland against Boston Celtic.
Okay.
He's played well, but they lose in overtime.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's very excited to watch Jimmy Butler in playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's making, but he's so good in playoff.
Oh yeah, he is a
big game player.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like when it's a big game, he shows up and he gets his young players to do better and everything. Like he's the type of guy that like hockey teams would want to have.
Yeah.
The guy that like really gets everybody together. Who's your favorite Russian hockey player growing up?
Oh, I really love Kucher. I don't say about Ovechkin because when I was kid, he's my favorite, of course.
Yeah.
For every Russian player. Now I really like watch to Kucherov and Kaprizov.
Is that why you wear 86?
It's maybe so, but not a lot. I think it's just it's a long story too. Like not long, but when I come in St. Petersburg on the Russia, it's a Russian team. On St. Petersburg, it's a city.
Yeah.
And close with Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have my number because usually I play for 14, 9, 91, and I just come in and we don't have open numbers, and I take to 34 because I like Matthews too. He's really good and just interesting. I want to try it, and it's a bad season. And after I just switch it for 86 because he's will open too. And just stay it, hold it, and I know. Yeah, I like it. Kucherov, good player for me. He's one of the best, I think. And
he's nasty.
He's very smart. Like play. No, I don't say he's so hard. He's just like really smart. He just take puck and seam, score an open net. It's easy.
He's good at like everything.
Yeah. And I love Kaprizov Kirill. He's a good hockey player too. For me, he's really strong on the puck. Great stick handle, skating, but he skates so well. It's tough.
I think you said 91 in there. Was that for Fedorov? Because I loved Fedorov.
But I don't watch all of his games, but I know he's legend on NHL.
Oh right, so Fedorov's probably a little old for you, huh?
Yeah, he's old. I don't watch all the games with him, but I watch movie about Russian 5.
Yeah, that was good.
It's really good. And Larionov was my coach. One time on the national team. It's a great experience. Really great. He's a great man, and and just about number. I don't remember why. Just usually it's 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, 91. It's a good number.
Yeah,
I know why.
It's still good.
Those things, it does happen in cycles though, where like certain numbers are cool. Like I think that right now we're in a time where numbers in the 80s are very cool.
Yeah.
So like 86.
Thank you.
Swinging, baby.
Yeah, I know. It's every 5 years, just switch it numbers, and like 5 years ago, 4, 5, I don't know, 6 maybe. 91. It's feel like wow.
Yeah.
It's a great one. If you just play for 91, you just good guy, good player and everything. And I just pick up and
it's like that in soccer too, probably more than anything else.
10, 7,
10, 9,
7,
It's about who makes the numbers cool, which is why
of course.
Stamkos has done a lot for like 91, for example.
I say like it's I talked with my little brother, he's a hockey player too, and he last season pick up 40.
40?
Why 40? He said Peterson.
Oh,
said, like if not Peterson, we will think what's
Zetterberg.
Yeah. Oh, Zetterberg too. Really.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
I forgot about Zetterberg. Yes, it's a good 34 too. Like why for it? But Matthew start to play and everything now like it 32. It's about players, I think.
Yep.
Well, Marcello, is that what you said? Marcello?
Marcella, yeah.
Marcella, you have been a fantastic podcast guest.
Yes.
You are, for as great as you are at hockey, you are even better at doing a podcast. So we thank you for participating.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy and a little nervous, but I'm okay now.
You've done great.
Yeah,
You're awesome.
you just...
Welcome to the
guys.
podcast world.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
The best, told no lies. He's awesome. Love Kirill Marchenko. Thank you to him for coming on. Thanks to the Blue Jackets for suggesting him, because honestly, that was one where we were just like, hey, we're gonna come make some fun stuff with you guys. Anybody else who's really fun? They were like, Marchenko.
Yeah.
He is the best. Good on him to do a podcast when he's never done one before and when he was a little uneasy about his English, but he's just a very, very cool hang. Hopefully you could vote him into the All-Star game. Hashtag NHL All-Star Vote. Marchenko, Kirill, full name, please. Get him in there. What are we doing? We're pushing the agenda.
We're pushing the agenda, and in the time that it took to air the interview, the list came out of the highest vote getters from the fan vote, and Kirill Marchenko not on the list there. So get to work. Get to work. Kirill Marchenko, hashtag NHL All-Star Vote.
Let's look who's on there. Nylander tops, no surprise. I mean, he'd be forced in even if he has no votes. The NHL would hire bots to make sure another Toronto player is there. Cale Makar, I said yesterday, he should be at the top of the list of guys who should get in.
Mm-hmm.
Leon Draisaitl makes sense just because he's such a star and he's having kind of a Draisaitl-esque season. Pettersson, I'll tell you what, so far, other than Marner, like all the guys that are up at the top of the list
deserving.
should be there.
Yeah.
I said Pettersson yesterday as well.
Artemi Panarin is on the list, even though the Rangers were like, he does not want to go,
They
and he's
quite
not
literally
going to
put
go.
out a video of Artemi Panarin being like, I cannot go to the All-Star game. Vote for other Rangers. And the only Ranger, or I guess not the only Ranger, there's Zibanejad on there, but still.
I
would
like
love for- I
Bouchard
would
being
love-
on there.
Huh?
Bouchard should
yeah.
be on there.
I love Mikko Rantanen on there. I want him to get in just so that he can say fuck you to his teammates' dads. Zach Hyman, obviously, we're pushing Zach Hyman as a show campaign. But like Eastern Conference, Kirill Marchenko, Western Conference, Zach Hyman. Let's go. Get to work, everybody.
How many more guys do they take?
I believe 8.
I think so. It's on
8. All right, so let's look at the top. So the top 8 is Nylander, Makar, Draisaitl.
Yeah, but it would be 8 for each for like each conference, and also 3 goalies, I think.
Oh, 8. Okay, so Zach Hyman would be in, seemingly.
Yeah, on the East, we have Nylander, or I guess for the West, we would have Makar, Draisaitl, Miller, Besser. Why can't I?
Besser, yeah.
Besser, Rantanen, Hyman. So Hyman would be 7 there, 6, 7. So he would be in that top 8. As far as the West is concerned, Western skaters.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Although honestly, I want Bouchard over. I didn't even think of Bouchard, but like he's having an all-star season.
Don't say that you want Bouchard
I want
over
him
Hyman.
over Draisaitl.
I
want him over Draisaitl.
As far as the Eastern Conference is concerned, like you can take away Panarin. So there's going to be someone else down here for the East.
If I can only have 4 Oilers at the All-Star game, I want to be McDavid, Hyman, Bouchard, and Skinner.
Yes.
I think it's only fair and only right. But I want Marchenko there as well.
Also, in the time that we took to air that Marchenko interview, the Gauthier situation, that trade has gotten even messier because Kevin Hayes has come out and talked to reporters, specifically reporter Matthew DeFranks, posted some quotes of him talking to Kevin Hayes this morning, and they are strong quotes. So I'm just going to read it real quick. Yeah, I think it's complete bullshit, honestly. I think those 2 guys acted like complete pieces of shit, to be honest, making shit up. Now I'm going to bed and waking up with death threats, and people want my family dead, and people are happy that my brother's dead. I think it's completely insane that this guy can say something like that. I honestly heard it and started laughing. Who the fuck am I to have influence on if a kid plays for an NHL team or not? I don't have that influence.
Okay, so I mean, taking out the shit of like saying stuff about his brother,
right?
And
don't be a piece
Twitter
of shit.
assholes like that. It sucks that he had to see all that and everything, but like I take those assholes so unseriously that I'm like, it goes without saying, fuck those idiots. You're giving Flyers fans a bad name, and although Flyers fans generally are very assholey, like don't make people think that they're folks who are tweeting about folks' like dead brothers who died tragically.
I mean,
obviously,
I'm not going to blame Kevin Hayes for that. Like, it's,
right.
I can understand Kevin Hayes being pissed that like if he didn't say those things or like didn't, you know, have.
So here, let me finish my thought
Okay.
though.
All right.
I don't have that influence is the correct thing for him to say. Like we said earlier in the show, like, boy, when you said that you have never said anything about the Flyers, we're like, wow, well, now you're probably kind of lying a little bit. I agree. You don't have that influence. Even if you said, fuck those guys, you don't want to play there, you cannot be held responsible for that. Like a person would have made an insane decision if they took even inflammatory things you said about the franchise to say, okay, well, then I'm not going to play there. So it's
100%.
not Kevin Hayes' fault. And even if he did say shit, which like I don't totally believe him when he says I didn't say anything at all, it's not his fault.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, like, if he did say something, whatever, like it's his right. And then like, don't bring the fucking family into it. And I can understand it from Kevin Hayes' perspective. If like, if somebody came out there and like said that this was his fault, like a person directly associated with the Flyers and who is seemingly like a very popular person in that fan base and around that team, to just throw that shit out there pretty recklessly is shitty. It's a shitty position to put Kevin Hayes in, and it's a shitty thing to do, shitty professional move. So like I respect Kevin Hayes for getting in front of a microphone and being like, fuck all of this.
Yeah, and again, like I don't even. It sounds silly to try to convey a message to people who would tweet those things at him, but like and again, I'm speaking to a very small percentage of absolute psychos on the internet, but you know that when you do that, everybody is like, good for Cutter Gauthier that he got away from this fan base. And now like the guy that everybody can agree did a kind of dicey thing is now painted as a victim in all this. So like, just don't be, I don't know, like I'm always weird about shit. Like when someone's like, could you believe that this person tweeted that sort of thing? I'm like, unfortunately, I can believe that there is a crazy group of people who would do shit like that. But I take them so unseriously as human beings that it's shitty.
I want the Flyers to have their identity back, and I'm glad they have some identity back, but I don't want them to have like this deep of the identity back. Yeah. I just want them to be petty and be angry and take it super personally, but not be fucking pieces of shit about it. So find the line, friends. Also,
Jimmy Hayes also was like the nicest. So I said Marchenko is like the sweetest hockey player ever dealt with. Like Jimmy Hayes is high on that list. Like really, really, really sweet person. And obviously, like it sounds so stupid. He was like, his death is like a fucking devastating thing for that family and for hockey. So like, look, like personally, like when it comes to like humor and comedians and shit, like what is this person allowed to joke about? I'm generally like, you know what, do whatever you want or whatever. Like shit like this, like no tolerance. Don't fucking do shit like that.
Yep. Before we get out of here, Chaos Chain game tonight. The Seattle Kraken playing the Buffalo Sabres. -108. The bet has been placed. $20 to win 38. So $18.52 on the line with the pot. Nobody owns the Seattle Kraken in the Chaos Chain. They're holding the belt, the chain right now. I have the Canadians and Rangers. DJ has the Avalanche and Oilers because I gifted him the Oilers yesterday. Sean gave me the Rangers. DJ has to give Sean a team. So who are you giving Sean?
I'm giving Sean the Nashville Predators because we don't really talk about the Predators a lot.
That's true. We don't.
Sure, dude. All right. Why not? Shout out Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, people forget. That's right. There's the connection there.
Stay away from Tim Hortons.
We push the Ryan O'Reilly. Sean's like, stay away from Tim Hortons so there can be more for me. That's what he means.
Or so
that's
there can,
like I feel like that joke is like the Patrick Kane cab joke where it's just like, how are we still making these jokes?
I mean, it's
but
like aggressively
it's
Buffalo too. I mean, it didn't happen in Buffalo, it happened in Ontario, but still, it's like both Buffalo guys. We very rarely have things happen in that city, so we're gonna make fun of those two forever.
That one's a little funnier. Like, not the drunk driving is funny, but like getting a brand new truck and then drunk driving and not hurting anybody, just driving straight into a Tim Hortons. It's very funny.
It's much less. He didn't do anything to anybody. I mean, he could have, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But he ultimately didn't do anything to anybody else.
Very funny.
So on that note, I think we can all agree. On what?
We got to spin the wheel. We got to.
Yeah.
One more. How are you not keeping up with all these rules?
Yeah, I'm telling you, make the board.
People are getting very into
how confusing
how
it is.
complicated this is.
That's the only thing that grabs me with this.
So
no, like I mean,
that's the only thing that grabs you.
No, like that's what makes me all in.
Who's this for?
This one's for DJ. DJ wants to spin, right?
Okay, so I'm spinning, and this is to do what?
To get your third team.
To get a third team. Come on, Daddy. Give me Alex Pietrangelo.
You get the most boring team
Minnesota
in the league.
Wild. Love it. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Congratulations. Nobody else wants that. All right, spin it for me. Let's go.
Spin that wheel for Pete.
That's right. The Florida Panthers.
Nice.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll take the Florida Panthers.
All right. And by the way, if you spin for a team that is already, if you get a team that is already taken here, although
No, they're all being removed.
I was going to say, then you have to like give the other two of us $100.
All right, go ahead, Sean. This is for your third and final team.
I mean, still, you could get one, and then you have to.
No, come on.
I almost gave you the Blackhawks.
I'm so jealous. Sean gets the Blackhawks. Why are you saying no?
I wanted the Blue Jackets. We were very close.
Fair
enough. Let's go.
The Chicago Blackhawks.
Let's go.
Damn. Okay.
Nice. Well, here's a game that we should add. This is like this can balance out the complicated nature of the chaos chain. We should just at the end of every show spin the wheel, have every team on there, just see what team it lands on. And it means nothing, but we could just be excited by who it lands on. If we were just spinning that wheel anyway and it landed on the Blackhawks because I like that team, I would have been like, yeah, Blackhawks.
I like the idea of spinning the wheel with all 32 teams at the end of every episode, and then like whoever your team lands on for your spin, you have to say something about them. Can be positive, can be negative. It's just like a final thought about like a random team.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sean?
I also enjoy that. Yeah.
Can we get approval on that?
Yeah.
All right.
We're
But
gonna
you
start
still
doing that
also
one
have
forward.
to make the chain and the box and write everything on there. Also, a programming note. I lost a lot of money on the college football game last night. So to regrow my bankroll, my betting account is in the double digits now. I'm down to like $90 in there. So I'm betting $60 on Oilers to beat the Blackhawks in regulation. That's like minus 300 or something. But anything to just like grow back,
to win
like
450.
Yeah, like truly. So any little bit helps. So Oilers, please don't fuck around. Beat the extremely dead Blackhawks in regulation this evening. All right, that'll do it for this show. We went a little long today, but we can do that because we damn boys. Sean, what do we have on the PWHL slate tonight? Fairweather fan. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's crazy.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.